So for me, this week I was mucking around with the app trying to get it to, so you can have, we've got, what do we call it? Mastermindtogether.com, and trying to create subdomains. So it's like ITU, mastermindtogether.com, or app, or whatever the subdomain is. So I kind of figured that out to a point where it's semi-automatic. That's probably where I'm going to leave it for now until I get actually people requesting to have their own subdomain or domains, because the next part of it is like talking to the server and this thing, and just it's another mucking around. So right now, if someone makes a request, I just have to manually go in and add the domain basically, instead of having a system do it, which I want to know how to do because ClickFunnels does it. When you add your domain to ClickFunnels, that process of adding the domain, checking it, adding the SSL, that's the process I need to automate. That whole process, that's what I need to figure out how to do. And that'll be good because then if I work for ClickFunnels in the engineering side, I'll be like, I've done that. I got a better understanding of how it works. So that's why I want to do it, but there's no demand to do it just yet. So I'm going to hold off doing that. And so the app's live, it's working, and I've just got to fix a few. So I'm mucking around with the tenancy. So for example, right now, if you switch from ITU to app or to a different tenancy, it doesn't change the user account ID, which basically means you see the wrong information. So it doesn't switch you automatically. So I need to make it. So right now, I'm just going to make it switch you automatically on the back end so you see the right account information, because otherwise, right now, you have to go to accounts, hit switch, and then it switches you. Whereas I just need to make it, what domain is it? Okay, switch to that person's information on that domain. That's my next step. And then it's kind of ready. I'm talking with Amy. So I've given her a demo and I'm talking. So what I want to do with ITU is give them this app and then get everyone in it and using it, and then see what features most people request. And then at the end of it, create some kind of premium plan. So there's going to be like a freemium and a premium. And those who want the premium get all the new features, and ITU basically gets half of the revenue. That's my plan. I'm going to see if they're interested. People using the app, ideally, and then and I'm reading a book at the moment called The Mum Test. Have you heard of that?
I have, but I've never read it.
Okay, so basically what that guy says is when you're building something, you don't tell them what it is. So you ask people, you talk to people about it, but you don't tell them what it is or what it does. You just you're digging around it to find if they'll actually use it without describing the app or the product or whatever it is. So you ask questions. So for example, like, Diane, when's the last time you set a goal? Then you dig into that without so for example, and the
app would be doing all of this. You would just log on and it would just start asking questions.
No, no, this is before you build anything.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, so this is before you actually build. Like, I identified a problem and I built it for ITU. That problem's checked. It's the problem of the user. Like the user, how are they setting goals at the moment? How are they accomplishing their goals? Like, what are they doing? Do they even use the computer? Do they write down their goals? Do they just put it in their head? Like, it's about kind of finding all the bits and pieces to see what their problem is, the actual problems, and then using your app to solve that rather than, hey, I've got an app. Would you use it? How much would you pay? All these are like, yes, of course I would. Like they want to please you, whereas you ask questions that they can't please you. They just give you the information and you take that information and you can make better decisions from it.
Everyone who's successful seems to say, I shouldn't say everyone, every once in a while you'll have somebody that builds something and it becomes a hit. But you listen to Alex Hermosi, Tom, they all say, listen for the pain point and then solve the pain point. You don't create something and then go looking for the market. And yet we have an idea that we want to coddle and grow.
Totally. Like, you get the idea and you're stuck. But it's the only person or only way you know if it works is the market. If people buy the product, that's the only way you know if your product is valuable. But then it's also how you sell the product. So it's like, because selling it is more important than making it in a sense, because if you can sell it, then you can build whatever you can on the back end. So yeah, but the book is, it's quite interesting. So I'm just going through that to figure out, when everyone's going through this challenge, I'll meet random people in the group and just get feedback, like ask them 5 questions or whatever it is to see, like, instead of asking what features, it's like ask them a couple questions to see what they actually need. And then they present the problem and you design the solution without them knowing what it is. So I'm trying to learn to code, right? And I'm building an app, but I need to, in my opinion, develop a more rounded approach. So for example, I need, instead of just say I got 10 hours a week, instead of spending 10 hours just building the app, I need to spend 10 hours studying. I can't spend all my time building. I need to spend, like, even though I get a problem, I research the problem, but I feel I need to, like, I don't know what I don't know. So I'm like, I've got A, B, C, and I'm using those tools, but I could use D and it could solve a problem, but I don't know about D. So I need to spend time researching, expanding the aspects of what I know.
How do you learn what you don't know? Because it could be, like, that can also be rabbit holes. How do you put up guardrails?
So
where do you start?
Yeah, so it is essentially, like, for example, Rails has a guidebook. So the founder of Rails, he has a guidebook, and it's basically just going through, just read the guidebook as go through chapter once a month or whatever it is, to at least know the concepts, maybe not know how to implement them exactly, but at least know, hey, there's this thing I could use. So if I run into a problem, I'm at least aware of what I could do, because I'm learning things as I go. Like, every week I'm learning different things, but it's still like, you watch someone like coding and they're doing that, or they're doing that. I didn't know you could do that. Like, where did it, like, it's just, these other things. I'm just trying to get a more rounded approach to it, because I feel I'm missing pieces, but I don't know what I'm missing.
Right. And you've got a guidebook. Like, in my mind,
Yes.
when you were saying that, it was kind of like, there's the world of items. But
well, it's literally, I want to learn how to code, and there's Ruby, and then there's the Rails, and then there's a guidebook. So it's like, it's still going down a niche there. So you're quite focused, and the guidebook is from the founding person. So it's like, yeah, and then it's a collaborative effort of other people. So that's like the Bible of this language, essentially. So at least I learned that. That's a good, it's got to be in there, basically. If it's not in there, then it's like some random thing that you no longer use. And the way this code works is like, they go a certain way. So you're going to do something, you do it this way. You can do it another way, but then it's like 10 times as hard. I may be doing it the 10 times hard way without knowing, like, the way that they're supposed to do it, because I don't know that's the way. That's what I'm trying to do. And then it's the app. So next week, maybe, I mean, it's live now, but once I do this little tweak, I want to figure out how we can, so when you document, can we document in the app somehow? Or what makes sense to document in the app, these lessons. So, for example, I want us to go in the app, and everyone, like, we've got 5 people, whatever, we'll all join the same group. That group will have the link to the meeting, and then, somehow have it so we can put our information in, or I don't know how it's going to look. But basically throw us in there and then make it work for us is what I want to do. And that's it. That's me. That's keeping me busy.
My week took a delightful turn. About, I don't know, 3-4 months ago, I sent a message to somebody, Ryan, who lives in India, and I asked him about a VA. Like, does he know of anyone? Is there a certain service that's fair to the people, kind of thing? And I never heard back. Didn't worry about it. Didn't think of it. He doesn't go on Facebook. Didn't notice it. And I don't know why he went on, saw the note, and realized that it was perfect timing. He is in marketing, or anyway, when we were in a group together a while ago, and he was hoping to leave that job to go to a different specific company, and I'm guessing it didn't work out. Anyway, he's decided to become a freelancer. And when I heard that, I was thinking that was a side hustle, but he was quitting work like that week.
To be a freelance.
Yeah, sure. And he had some clients, but they weren't what he wanted to do. He wants to work with startups and create a process to quickly grow them. He's still talking about dollars per hour, but I really think he needs to go a package, because he's got a very definite idea of what he wants to do. So he started off, he said, can I do a marketing plan? And I said, sure. And I was explaining where I was at. I explained that I got ClickFunnels, because he started talking about investigating other websites. And I said, no, I've already got ClickFunnels. I've got someone who's building the ClickFunnels. And then he said, I think I want to learn ClickFunnels. But he thinks so different from me. I know this won't surprise you. I don't think in numbers and to analyze. He does. So it was a very uncomfortable week, but a wonderful week. Like, he said, okay, give me the numbers for the market in Canada, for the US. And then he put some percentage. He goes, so do you think you can survive with this number? And so if this happens, and he was really analytical, which I hated and loved. We met twice last week. I think the one was almost a 2-hour meeting, and the other one was 1 hour. And it wasn't fluffy. He just kept asking questions, and my head hurt. I kept looking at the clock thinking, isn't this over yet?
Fortune.
But it was very good. And so he's really, I'm doing different research, reassessing, sent him everything, and it will be wonderful. He's said it's like a 3-month plan, he thinks, but if we can get everything done in 2 months, all the better. And kind of to hell with Christmas, let's keep going. Because I've had trouble getting that sense of urgency, which I know is essential, and yet I couldn't seem to bring it on myself.
For example, problem was, what was the original problem? Like you didn't have a marketing, well, it's not having a marketing plan, I don't think that's a problem, but you weren't marketing.
Right. And I also wasn't confident with my plan either.
So you weren't marketing because you weren't confident in your marketing skills.
And I had switched the group partway through when I partnered with this pediatrician who's become a coach, and she was creating this circle. She's a high performance coach through Brendan Burchard, which that's where I met her, was through Brendan Burchard. So all great, believe in the same things, have the same vision, met on some calls, I've done some freebie stuff for her. So all of it's good. And she right now is in Huntington Beach, California at a thing with Brendan Burchard for coaching. And I have no intention of going, had no intent. She had said it was a separate program, and I thought, oh, okay, maybe I'll go. And then when I found out it was coaching, I said, no, I'm not going because I'm not a coach and don't want to be a coach. And that might have booted me out of her system, which is pretty scary because she was the key. And I'm going, crap, you're the one that was going to, because she has this circle of coaches. And I didn't realize that this circle of coaches was through Brendan Burchard. I thought it was people that after she went home, because she's been working on this for a year, was on many medical community committees. So I thought they were from a diversity that all serviced medicals. Last week, about 2 weeks ago, that they are people who service medical communities who are high performance coaches through Brendan Burchard. And then after they do Brendan, they go to this Vitali individual coach, and they're working through him. So I might be booted out. I might be without a target market. And I didn't know this was happening. And one of the things in probably a couple of months ago, I joined an audio summit. Really like the setup. You market, she said, I get 6 people in total. You're one. There's 5 other people. You interview them so that, I'll speak for me. So I would interview each person. So all the videos, I'm included. So it's not like a summit where someone goes on stage and you could cut me out. I'm in the whole thing now. You could take clips. And then I also have someone interview me. Its focus is audio. And on a specific day, all 6 are dropped. They're half an hour each, so 3 hours total. And then people who sign up for free get the download. So it's easier for them to learn. They don't have to be there at a specific time. It's just quick and easy way to get information. The calls aren't sales pitches because I get to ask the questions, but the people can offer a prize or whatever so that they can get more people, the listeners. So it's a podcast and a summit put together, much easier. Once you get the first time, she said you could easily do it every other month, maybe even every month if you've got, the system in place.
So where are you going to get the people from?
Before I knew about this, I had asked her, and she said, yeah, I think so. And then now I'm going, oh, I'm glad I asked her because she knows I'm moving forward, looking for people will contribute. But
no, but even if you got 5 people, where are you getting traffic for people who are going to listening to the 5 people?
Each of us have to do our own. I'll have to rely on getting new people or friends, as well as my previous from the OTs and parents.
Okay, so everyone shares to their list, basically, or their audience.
I'm the only one who gets all of them, though. And I'm not sure why she has that, but that's one of her rules. I bought her prepackaged thing that I haven't listened to. It's a Black Friday special. But then she had a follow-up bonus with a 1 hour. And she said, no, the host is the only one who gets all of the emails. And I'm not sure why. It's
so
just the host.
How do you divide amongst the rest?
The way they get new people is by offering a bonus or tomorrow's the last day, I think. And then she goes to do her individual. And I guess by the weekend, I'll find out if I'm in or out. Oh, well.
Are you on the list? So then what's the plan?
Right now, I'm just focusing on working with Ryan, getting understanding better, because that just kind of came out of the blue. And I think he's still getting clarity because he was on Tom's call yesterday, and I was kind of listening while I was doing some other things, so I missed it, and there was noise in the background. And so he's going for clarity. He was talking about his niche, how to niche, and Tom said, no, niche down. He's still struggling too, so he's changing how I look at my business, and he's still trying to figure out his. Just focusing on that right now, because he might decide that 3 months he doesn't want to do it. And so he might say,
I find it odd that people like leave and don't have it set up. You know what I mean? Like, I would only leave my job if I had something, probably already earning money, or had a clear plan as to what I needed to do to get the money. Because then as soon as you don't have that regular income, it becomes stressful.
He's been planning it for a while. I think he's got like months and months saved up. He's a very strategic person.
Yeah, you've got the cash, yeah.
Yeah, and he has clients, but the clients he's trying to come up with a different system. And so he's got money to pay the bill while he works on a different system. And I'm the working on the different system person.
You're the guinea pig.
Yeah.
But that's how you start. You got to go give your service away for free, and then figure out what you do. And then ideally, if you do well, you can charge him the next one.
Based on what I knew of him from when we were in a group together, I think he'd be phenomenal to work with. He's very committed to provide value. But he's always strategic, because he's always looking at time. He just thinks strategically. So it's not like some people who would help at their detriment. He's always helping with a goal in mind, which I think is perfect. Otherwise, you burn out. My thing for next week is just to do whatever Ryan says is what I'll do.
You're going to have a meeting with him, and he's just going to say, hey, let's do this.
Well, I sent him a whole lot of, he was asking for messages I'd done for ClickFunnels, my copy, my videos. I still need to send him the 5-minute perfect webinar script that I did. And therefore, script, the one I mentioned to you about that it's really short, I had that written. And so I still need to send him a few things, and then we meet tomorrow. So that, and to plan for 2023, I started thinking about that last night. I was doing some mindless work, and I thought, it's going to be here in the flash of an eye. I need to make some plans that are exciting. Okay.
Sounds good.
Sounds awesome.
All right. I'll catch you next week.
Okay. Sounds good. Thanks, James.